Welcome to Vsb News Online for Thursday, April the 16th. I'm Charles Webb. After the 3 traumatic years of governance by the so-called Team Hamilton, ousted Mayor Charles Goslin has returned to the fray with a formidable roster of current and former aldermen and councillors, including former Team Hamilton member Larry Scott. At today's nomination process for both Hamilton and St. George's municipal elections, Mr. Goslin named his contingent.
Our team right now consists of John Harvey, who's well known as being the ex-chief director of the Bermuda Hotel Association. We have Dennis Tucker, who has is currently serving as the CEO of the Bermuda Hotel Pension Scheme, and is also on the Gaming Commission. We have Nicholas Swan, who works with Pangea, managing director there, as well as the Challenger Banks, the Swan family operation. We have Larry Scott, a current councillor on board, who I think the community respects very much for the positions that he's been taking over the last couple of years. Roseanne Edwards, who is a current councillor, has been a great supporter for the community, continues to work that way, is well respected by the community. Carlton Johnson, who is a new member, is a retired school teacher. And we have Henry Ming, who has run an architectural company in North Hamilton for many, many years, ex-president of the Bermuda National Trust, and myself.
How confident are you for May 6th?
I'm very, very confident this time. We have an extremely good team. Yes, it is a very mature group, but guys that have shown their commitment to the community for many, many years. And I really think that the electorate has no choice but to bring us in, put Hamilton back in safe hands, and have a true direction forward, working in partnership with government.
Larry Scott was totally unapologetic about his decision, and he warned that if re-elected, he will call for a financial investigation of the corporation.
I hope my credibility will in fact hold me well in this next election. That's what I'm relying on. It's my plain credibility. I've been as honest as I can with the public, with what has transpired. Quite frankly, I think what I will, if I'm successful, if I'm lucky, I will call for an immediate forensic audit to take place at City Hall. Nonsense has happened, and I think that needs to be cleared up, to be quite frank.
Now, having been a part of Team Hamilton, does that present any problems for you?
No, none whatsoever. I joined Team Hamilton on the basis that it would be an honest relationship and people would do things that were proper. It didn't turn out that way, and I'm not prepared to be associated with that any longer. I see that several of them are putting in their nominations again, but that's their business. I'm doing what I'm doing in this regard. I'd like to serve the city of Hamilton, which I don't think is a very difficult thing to do if you do it right.
Another member of the former Team Hamilton, Carlton Simmons, reserved his comments to what he would like to achieve as an individual, while candidate John Holdup III thought he brought some special qualities to the task.
This is a race, so I'm in it to fight for it. I'm not assuming anything. I don't think that this is a given because I've been here before. I'm confident I could do the job better than anybody else in the field. So if I have any confidence about something, that's what I'm confident about.
Now, have you talked to the electorate?
I have canvassed a bit, and I've been encouraged by the residents in particular. I do intend to try to reach out to a lot of the businesses. I'm not looking to be the mayor of one side. I want to be the mayor for everybody. And like I said, there's a lot of issues, and it's going to require somebody who has extensive knowledge of the city, in particular the background of a lot of the underlying issues that are going on at the moment. And so I think I'm the best suited as far as yet of the candidates that are running. But I'm not going to take anything for granted. I'm going to get out there and I'm going to fight hard and let people know what I stand for. And hopefully they'll make a decision in my favor.
Well, now that I have some 18 months experience, I still believe that we need to incorporate a full city. We still have the challenge where you've got one half of the city being very well developed and another half of the city not being very well developed. I also believe that the people must be a part of the process. And I can look at it on a national scale and say the same thing. Your participation is not just on the day of voting. Your participation must be continuous throughout the period so that we don't have similar calamities like what have existed both before and in the last. You know, we can do better. As a society, we can do better. I'm not going to run with fear, but we must do better.
With a total of over 24,000 airline seats lost between December 1st of last year and March this year, efforts are being made at the highest level to take Bermuda's quest for more seats direct to the airlines. The plan calls for first an on-island gathering next month called the Airlift Group. Bill Henbury, Chief Executive Officer of the Bermuda Tourism Authority, explains.
What we're attempting to do is to pull together a group of community stakeholders that includes international business, hospitality, the hotels, representation of individual residents that will be able to go to the airlines and, in fact, have a serious conversation with them about what else do we need to do in order to assure that demand stays during the off-season.
So would you have a case like, for example, the minister inviting the CEO of United, come down and play some golf and then talk to you?
Yeah. Well, obviously the government is very interested in supporting this, and they play a defining role in this. And we've had conversations with both our minister at Transport and Tourism, but also with the Premier around this. And the seriousness of this, I believe, requires that the minister and the premier be involved in negotiations at the CEO level with these airlines. So our intention is, and we've already had conversations with United about this, is to set meetings with the premier and the CEO of United Airlines in order to make sure that they are aware of the seriousness of this issue. But we also have to go to them with something substantive, some plans, some ideas that go beyond what's happened in the past, because again, all they're looking at is past demand and making decisions based on that.
The Bermuda Hotel Association is throwing its resources into the effort, and Chief Executive Officer Stephen Todd says his team is up to the task.
We need to concentrate on the fact that Bermuda is open for business. We're not the destination that we were in terms of the number of beds that perhaps we had 2 or 3 decades ago. But what we need to focus on is the fact that we can provide a quality, professional, and very customer-friendly environment that we believe is unique unto itself, because we are competing in the world market, an international market, not amongst ourselves. So I think it's important that we work closely with our industry partners, one of which obviously is the Bermuda Tourism Authority, to ensure that we market ourselves not just as a destination to come during the summer months, but as a year-round destination. Key to our future success is the generation of foreign exchange that has to come through the ability for individuals, groups, and others to be able to get to Bermuda on a convenient, easy access, timely basis at a reasonable price. If we can have all of those elements brought into the mix, it makes it a far easier exercise for all of us to do our part in ensuring that we meet the needs of the traveling public.
There was an encouraging amount of interest in being nominated for the election to the Corporation of St. George, where nominations were taken today at the Seventh-day Adventist Hall in Hamilton. Current Mayor Garth Rothwell is putting his name forward again and was able to paint a rosier than usual picture about the old town's finances.
What we're going to try and do differently, we've actually got to tackle now that we've got the funds building up in the bank account, we're in a position where we can start to tackle some of the infrastructure. That's not to say we haven't done some already. We've fixed 2 wharfs, we've bought a trash truck, and we're now working hard on getting the restrooms in the town square all up, improved. You know, we kept them very clean, but they were very dated. Those 4 items are not glamorous items, but they were absolutely necessary ones, and that was the start of our infrastructure. Our main problems, I think, with infrastructure now are around the flushing system, the flushing water system that we got in the town, and the sewage system. And that's not so easy to fix, because when you go for that, you really have to take up the road. And when you take up the road, you really should do a complete job. And when you cost that, it's a fair bit of money. So we got to really tackle that one and figure out how to go forward with that. The other thing that we're doing is the marina. We have been working very hard on that. In fact, this weekend we're going to have another meeting with the developer. We're very close to a commercial agreement. We've been working with the government to sort out Queen's Bottom and customs duties and a few other things. That's, I think, in the right place now. And if we, as I say, we're down to a couple of commercial items with the developers, with the corporation and the developers, and if we can sort that out, that'll be underway in a short space of time.
Two existing councillors, Elizabeth Christopher and Donnie McLaughlin, were equally keen to continue serving their community.
Well, I'm really into trying to get some economic revitalization in St. George's. I am running under the residents' vote because, as far as I can see, the residents are very concerned to see some revitalization. So I'm really trying to develop tourism. I think we have something unique. I think it's something that needs to be dealt with and managed in St. George's. I've been working with the BTA during my previous term, and they seem really interested in getting things moving along. So I'm really excited about the opportunity to work with them again, and hopefully get out the vote so I can work with them again.
Now, how will you apply your legal skills to this?
Well, there's a lot going on, of course. You know, we're trying to get a marina developed. We're trying to get big projects afoot. So we own property, and certainly I've been on the property committee at various junctures during my tenure as a councilwoman. So I think I have something to offer in that regard as well.
The big thing also for St. George's is that the number of unattended, neglected buildings, like the Earl Summers movie house. There's a number of them around town. There's a couple that are slowly being renovated now, but it'd be nice to get more of them occupied and so forth.
So would the old police station figure in your plan?
Yes, I think it'd be better to have at least a bit of presence, more than what we're getting now. That's important, especially in a heritage designation like St. George's.
With the children of Northlands Primary School singing "Every Praise is to Our God," the serious issue of child abuse was brought into bold relief on the steps of the City Hall today as speakers acknowledged April as National Child Abuse Prevention Month. The Governor, George Ferguson, cited SCAR's important role in protecting our children, while Detective Inspector Mark Clark of the Bermuda Police Service touched on the importance of apprehending the perpetrators of child abuse.
I very warmly welcome this initiative by SCARS to raise awareness of the serious issue of child abuse in general and child sexual abuse in particular. I commend the job that SCARS has done on this already. They have an excellent training course, which I and my wife and the Deputy Governor, who I also welcome, have done, and I strongly recommend others to do it. I also recommend that you don't do what I did, which was to pick up a parking fine while I was attending the course. The second thing that SCARS does is excellent advocacy. And this month, the promotion of this month and of tomorrow's Mix Match Grub Day is part of that. The problem of child sexual abuse is sadly not new, but the awareness of its prevalence and its damaging and far-reaching effects is rapidly growing.
Silence is cancerous. Like cancer, silence should never be a welcome member in our community. Fortunately, we have proactive child protective laws that encompasses the fundamental principles of prosecution, diversion, intervention, prevention. The full utilization of this four-pronged approach promotes deterrence, assists victims, and prosecutes offenders. We, the police, recognize the contribution of both prevention and intervention. We also recognize the significant impact of child abuse in our community is unquestionable. The question must continue to lie in Bermuda's resolve to overcome this silence with unswayable aggression.
And we'll be back with more news right after this.
The Marketplace Food Court is you and your family's one-stop shop. Start your day at the Breakfast Bar with omelets made to order and traditional Bermuda codfish breakfast. The chefs will cook lunch and dinner to your liking. Along with the salad bar, sandwich bar, sushi bar, and fruit bar, the Marketplace Food Court is your kitchen away from home. Every day is hassle-free with nutritious meals from the Marketplace Food Court. Visit us 7 days a week. Homemade cooking, quality service, all at prices you can count on.
A stunning 5-stamp issue was released today with due pomp and ceremony by the Bermuda Post Office in honor of the 50th anniversary of the formation of the Bermuda Regiment. The stamps, which feature images of the modern-day roles and valued traditions of the regiment, were welcomed by Governor George Ferguson and Premier Michael Dunkley and will be on display until the autumn.
50 years is a long time. And of course the regiment's traditions and memories go back much further, for around 120 years in the histories of its predecessor regiments. The regiment remains a valuable, relevant and appreciated institution 50 years on from its formation. I'm grateful to all in the regiment and formally of the regiment for their service, past and present. I'd also like to welcome at least 2 people who served in the regiment's distinguished predecessor units. The Honorary Colonel of the Bermuda Regiment, Colonel Eugene Rayner, who was in the Bermuda Militia Artillery, and Mr. Douglas Roberts, who served in the Bermuda Rifles. Both served through amalgamation and into the new regiment. And I'd also particularly like to thank Private Fublo, Regimental Number 11817, who's the newest recruit to the regiment and who's with us today. Welcome.
As a Minister of National Security, I have the pleasure of working with the Bermuda Regiment quite often. Just as recently as during Hurricanes Faye and Gonzalo, once again, the critical importance of the service that the regiment has to our community came to the forefront with the ease of operation that was demonstrated by your team, Commanding Officer. I was comforted to be the co-chair with the Commissioner of Police and to have the opportunity to serve with you. And once again, it was witnessed at a critical level what the regiment can do for our community and will continue to do for our community. So in this year 2015, as we get ready to celebrate the 50th, which happens later this year, I think it is important to focus in on the past history of the regiment, the strength and what it has meant to the community, and what it will continue to mean to our community going forward.
The Take Back Our Parks group has become one of the first to use the new PADI legislation to draw attention to their concerns about the proposed industrial development in the middle of the Botanical Gardens. Brian Darby has the story.
Campaigners are now wondering whether any reports into the impact of the new Parks Department maintenance yard in the heart of the Botanical Gardens were ever done. Take Back Our Park said today it has used the new Public Access to Information legislation, PATI, to ask for copies of an environmental impact study, a noise impact study and a visual impact study into the work. It also asked for a financial analysis as well as documentation detailing alternative sites considered for the development. But a reply from the Planning Department has said, further to the email of yesterday, I have reviewed both planning files referred to and none of the information you are seeking is on either of the files. The reply then suggested contacting Parks Director Lisa Johnson. Jennifer Flood, spokesman for the group, said that we are surprised by the answer, as we would have expected that at least one, if not all, of these reports would have been done, given that this is such a sensitive area. If they had been done but not added to the planning files, I would ask that they be released for the public to see. I cannot believe that all these studies were deemed unnecessary. The group wants to stop work on the new maintenance yard, which includes a new water tower and 2 new two-story buildings. Along with vehicular maintenance work, the area will be acting as a mustering station for up to 120 Parks Department staff. Brian Darby reporting for Vsb News.
It has only been in existence for just over a year, but the Bermuda Community Foundation has already been able to donate over $1.5 million to organizations working in the community. Founding Chairman Peter Duhager said the foundation now managed over 30 donor and charitable funds, some of which were endowed. The foundation was founded by the Atlantic Philanthropies, Renaissance Re, the Buchanan Charitable Fund, and Bloomberg Philanthropies, with a key contribution coming from the XL Foundation. It was launched out of a perceived need for additional long-term philanthropic resources. And now we turn to Earl Baisden with the latest from the sports desk.
French couple Francisco and Virginie Nouvelou have been involved in the America's Cup for many years. The couple are in Bermuda, and we caught up with them to talk about their previous involvement in the event. Bermuda's netballers went down to St. Vincent and the Grenadines in their latest match of the Caribbean Netball Association's John Pierre Youth Tournament going on in St. Lucia. At the end of the first quarter, Bermuda were behind by 3 as St. Vincent and the Grenadines held a 9-6 lead. Bermuda could only manage 3 goals in the second quarter, while St. Vincent and the Grenadines scored 9 to take a 18-9 lead into the halftime break. The third quarter and final quarter saw St. Vincent and the Grenadines outscore Bermuda 10-6 in both quarters as they came away with the victory 38-21. Denori Robinson led Bermuda with 18 goals, while Inchene Smith scored 3 times. The Bermuda Ball Hockey Finals will need a Game 3 to decide a winner after the California Golden Seals rebounded from their first game loss to defeat the Minnesota North Stars 7-5 at the PCC hockey rink last night to level the series at 1-1. The North Stars would take the lead with a goal off the stick of Ed Sweeney, but the Golden Seals would draw level with a goal from Tory Dort. The North Stars would go back in front in the first period with a goal from Adam McTall, but Dort would strike again as the period came to an end with the teams locked at 2-2. Only 2 goals were scored in the second period, with Dave Guzard scoring for the Golden Seals, while Shannon Goose scored for the North Stars as it stayed 3-3 with 1 period to play. The Golden Seals would explode with 4 goals in the third period and restrict the North Stars to 2. The Golden Seals got 2 goals from Adam Cheevers and single strikes from Ian Guthrow and Dort, who completed his hat trick, while Corey Collette and Matt Tall scored a goal each in the period for the North Stars. Patrick Nisbet continued competing in the San Giovanni International Horse Jumping event in Italy. Nisbet and Da Vinci competed in the Grand Prix reserved for 7-year-olds in 2 phases table against the clock class, where they finished 3rd in a field of 25 riders. Nisbet and Da Vinci recorded a clear round time of 26:56. I'm Earl Baisden reporting for VSB Sports.
Looking at the weather for Friday, April the 17th, there will be sunny periods of rain arriving late night. Winds will be east-southeasterly, moderate, varying southeasterly by afternoon, then southerly overnight. We are expecting a high near 72 and a low near 65. This weather forecast is courtesy of the Bermuda Weather Service. Thanks for watching VSB News Online for Thursday, April the 16th. I'm Charles Webb.